Dandadan does something unlike any other shonen anime and manga, and it's all because the author was forced to read over 100 romance stories, begging the question of what happens when you combine such a sharp focus on love with the chaos of battle shonen. Well, that is Dandadan. At first glance, it may seem like a story about yokai, aliens, and crazy ass battles, but beneath the surface, it's really about connection, vulnerability, and love. The series follows Momo Ayase, a confident and popular girl, and Ken Takakura, aka Okarun, a shy, nerdy outcast. These two couldn't be more different, yet their worlds collide when they encounter the paranormal. What starts as pure chaos soon evolves into a heartfelt bond built on trust and shared struggles against the unknown. And as I mentioned, what makes this even more fascinating is the author's journey to bring this story to life. Yukinobu Tatsu, before creating Dandadan, was asked to read 100 shoujo manga, which is a genre of manga primarily targeted at young female audiences, focusing on romance, personal growth, and emotional storytelling. Sound familiar? Well, these are all things integral to Dandadan's plot and all things that it excels in. This isn't just another action-packed series with romance slapped on top. It's a story that deeply respects and redefines what love can be in a genre known more for its physical power-ups rather than evolving emotions. Because at its heart, Dandadan uses the paranormal not just as a setting or as an excuse for a shonen power-up, but as a metaphor for love itself. And that's due to the fact that love and the paranormal are incredibly similar concepts. Both are things we can't fully explain. They're unpredictable, often terrifying, but also transformative. Like how a shonen protagonist unlocking a new form gives them access to a new array of abilities and possibilities, so does falling in love. It's the closest thing to a shonen power-up we have. It gives people strength unlike anything they felt before. Take Momo and Okarun's first encounter for example. It begins with a heated argument about whether yokai or aliens are real, leading them to explore separate paranormal sites. What happens next? Well, Okarun ends up facing a creepy yokai known as Turbo Granny, whilst Momo is abducted by aliens. However, because Momo actually showed an interest in Okarun and his hobbies, albeit fleetingly, he felt something. He felt a meaningful connection. He'd only ever wanted a true friend in his life, and he felt Momo was the one. This gave Okarun the strength to fight back against the Serpo in order to try and protect her, even if it did end up in him taking the L. Luckily, Momo was there to pick up the pieces, unlocking her own paranormal abilities. But this was also thanks to Okarun though. Because of his heroics, a memory was triggered in Momo, one she had buried out of embarrassment and anger. You see, as a child, her granny, a powerful spirit medium, had tried to train her to unlock her psychokinetic abilities through subconscious techniques. But the training looked silly, and because of that, Momo became a target for bullying by her childhood crush. But now, Okarun, unlike those in her past, has embraced what Momo once felt ashamed of. Thinking back to her granny's training and encouraged by Okarun's acceptance, Momo was able to tap into her full potential and defeat the Serpo. This is poetic on many levels. The reason Okarun was such a loner was because he always believed someone like Momo Ayase was in a whole different world than him. She was unattainable, all because of their contrasting personalities. Momo was the confident, popular girl and Okarun the shy nerd. This plays a huge role in their dynamic. It's through their shared battles against the paranormal that they find common ground. Okarun's nerdy enthusiasm for the unknown becomes his strength, whilst Momo's boldness and determination make her a natural leader. That's not even mentioning how it was the other person's belief and interest that helped give them powers. Momo believed in yokai, which is what Okarun now uses in battle, whereas Momo's psychic abilities were awakened thanks to aliens opening up her chakra points. Together they fill in each other's gaps. And no, I don't mean it like that. One of the most touching examples of their growing bond is through Turbo Granny's possession of Okurin. The yokai within him can be seen as a metaphor for his inner struggles, such as loneliness, self-doubt, and past trauma. Losing control to the yokai symbolizes the overwhelming power that these emotions have when left unchecked. However, Momo stepping in to stop Okurin from losing control symbolizes the stabilizing force of love and friendship. Her actions are not just about saving him physically, but also about safeguarding his sense of self and affirming that he's no longer alone. In spite of this, Yukinobu Tatsu's editor told him that he was a terrible romance writer. Seriously, can you believe that? That's why he was forced into reading 100 shoujo manga before creating Dandadan. He started his career as an assistant to Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man. And well, you can see traces of Fujimoto's influence in Dandadan's wild, unpredictable energy. With it, Tatsu has carved out a space in the manga world that's both fresh and deeply personal. It's what helps Dandadan stand out. Where most shonen stories focus on battles, rivalries, or the pursuit of a singular goal, this series dares to mix genres in a way that feels effortless. It's part sci-fi, part horror, part comedy, and yet at its core, it's a romance. It's a testament to Tatsu's ability as a writer to be able to seamlessly juggle these elements without losing the emotional weight of the story. Most popular shonen, be it Naruto or Bleach just off the top of my head, touch on romance but often keep it on the sidelines. Love in those stories is more of a subplot, even then that might be pushing it. The bottom line is that romance tends to just be a box to tick as the story progresses, ultimately setting up the main protagonist's future child. It's not something to push the plot forward. However, in Dandadan, love is the driving force behind the story's biggest moments, all thanks to those 100 shoujo manga that he read. Nonetheless, it's safe to say that it paid off greatly, as you can see from one of the most striking influences it had on how Dandadan portrays emotional vulnerability. In many shonen stories, characters often bottle up their feelings, focusing instead on external challenges. But here, Tatsu isn't afraid to let his characters show their insecurities and emotional struggles. Okurin's initial shyness and self-doubt are laid bare, whilst Momo navigates her own emotional complexities, from her frustration with societal standards to her growing feelings for Okurin. In fact, her feelings become an integral part of her journey with the most powerful yokai of them all, Reiko Kashima. She was able to understand Momo's true feelings using her abilities and realized she was in love with Okurin, something she tried to use against her. However, after seeing the two of them together, Reiko was reminded of her own childhood love and was inspired to find love once more. In spite of this, she also confronted Momo about how she's not honest with herself about how she really feels regarding Okurin, and if she doesn't do something soon, then Reiko will steal him from her. These subtle, human moments make their relationship feel genuine and relatable, even in a world where there's a yokai trying to give you blowjobs. And this is all thanks to Dandadan's romantic pacing, where Tatsu channels the spirit of shoujo manga once again. Think of it like your typical power creep in shonen. Main character overcomes a challenge, gets stronger, unlocks a new form, and now needs a stronger challenge to unlock more new forms, repeat indefinitely until they eventually unlock their final godlike transformations. Now replace that form with love, and you get Dandadan. Instead of rushing Momo and Okurin into a relationship or stretching it out for the entire story, their connection builds gradually and logically. There's even visual clues that showcase how Momo's feelings change over time, such as how when we first see her bedroom, it's wall to wall with Ken Takakura, her celebrity crush's merch. Whereas after some time spent fighting alongside Okurin and spending every day with him, her room is now full of things that link back to him and aliens and the paranormal. Talking to Momo, in many shonen stories, female characters are often reduced to just love interests or damsels in distress. But Momo subverts these tropes entirely. She's a strong, multifaceted lead with her own goals and flaws. Take the battle with the Flatwoods monster for example. Okarun is happy to throw everything away in order to save Momo, like a typical shonen protagonist, but there's no need. Momo was already one step ahead, risking her own life to save Okarun. Now, the supernatural in Dandadan isn't just a plot device, it's a symbolic framework that mirrors the challenges of love. The yokai, aliens, and otherworldly threats represent external pressures and inner fears that any relationship must confront. They're obstacles that test Momo and Okarun, pushing them to confront not only these threats, but also their feelings for each other. However, at the same time, it's Okarun and Momo's escape to another world. For example, after becoming close, Okarun and Momo can't function without the other, spending their time apart at school constantly thinking of each other. It highlights how when they're not together, their world returns back to normal, what it was like before they met. However, when together, they enter an entirely new world, one filled with the paranormal and subsequently love. But the story doesn't shy away from how messy relationships can be. Miscommunications, awkward moments, emotional rawness, and battles are all part of the journey. Through their connection, Okarun becomes more confident and self-assured, something which is highlighted at the end of the Golden Ball saga. He's now popular, athletic, fit, and of course, has both of his balls back. It's a metaphor for him maturing and growing up. Bro's basically gone through puberty, and this is on purpose, as Momo and Okarun are both trying to figure out who they really are, which is a big part of what Dandadan is about. Their relationship gives them a safe place to explore their personalities and grow. Okarun finds the courage to believe in himself because of Momo's support, while she slowly learns to open up and rely on him. Their bond shows how love, especially first love, can help people see themselves in a whole new way. As they figure out their feelings for each other, it pushes them to grow and accept who they are. And so, in an era where stories are increasingly judged by their emotional depth, Dandadan feels especially relevant. Readers today crave more than just battles and rivalries. They want characters who feel real, relationships that matter, and themes that leave a lasting impact. Tatsu's decision to weave love as the central thread of his story, set against a backdrop of absurd and otherworldly chaos, is an innovative change to the shonen formula. One that I hope inspires others. We need authors to continue evolving this formula by borrowing from what makes other genres so popular. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're not already, and ding that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.